for today's reading lesson, we are going to be talking about fiction. Go ahead and say that word, fiction. Good job. Okay, what is fiction? I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. Fiction, what is it? What does that mean? All right, need more time? Pause the video. But fiction is writing that is fake or made up. Okay, so what does fake mean? Does that mean it's real or not real? It's not real. It's made up, pretend. So there are different elements of fiction. There are 4. We have character, setting, plot, and problem and solution. Character, setting, plot, problem, and solution. Solution is another word for resolution. They both mean the same thing. So this week we are going to be talking about character, setting, and plot. All right? So let's talk about character. What is a character? Well, a character is a person or animal in a story. It can also be a creature or an object that's alive. Okay, setting. What is setting? Well, setting is where and when a story takes place. Okay? Plot. What is plot? Give me a moment to think about it. We've talked about it before. Plot. All right. The plot is the key events that make up the story. So the different things that happen throughout the story. All right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that on Wednesday. Then we have problem and solution. Problem and resolution. Solution, resolution mean the same thing, just 2 different words, but they mean the same thing. So, something that happens to a character and how it is fixed. So, problem, something that goes wrong, okay? And then the solution, resolution, is how that problem is solved, fixed, all right? The next thing we need to go over is, how is it written? How is a fiction story written? Do you know? Okay, a moment to think about it. Use these pictures. Picture 1, 2, and 3. Fiction is written in a clear order of events from beginning, middle, to end. So, beginning, middle, end. So right here is an example of from this story, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Okay? In the beginning of the story, well, there's a caterpillar, right? There he is. And throughout the story, he's eating a whole bunch of different foods, getting bigger, and then towards the end, what does he do? He makes himself a cocoon, and then he turns into a beautiful butterfly. So this story right here, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, is an example of a story that is fiction, right? So let's think about it. Okay. So this story is made up, correct? Yes. Are you really going to see a caterpillar eating through all these foods? No. Caterpillars don't eat lollipops or sausage or pickles, ice cream. They don't eat those kind of things. Right? All right. And let's see. The setting. The setting of the story outside. Okay? The beginning, middle, end. Right here. We just went over that. Caterpillar eats a whole bunch of food, gets bigger, turns into a butterfly. Now, whenever we're thinking of fiction, it's important to think of what is the purpose? Why did the author write this story? So when we think of author's purpose, we think of PI. P for persuade. The author wrote the story to try to convince you of something. I, the author wrote the story to inform you, to teach you something. Or E, entertain. The author wrote the story to entertain you so you can enjoy the story. What do you think? This example right here, this fiction book. What do you think this is an example of? Entertain. The author's purpose is usually to entertain, hoping you'll just enjoy the story that they wrote. All right, so throughout this week, we're going to continue talking about fiction, looking at different examples of fiction books, and talking about why they are fiction. All right, before we leave, let's talk about these examples right here. The Cat in the Hat. This is an example of a fiction book because the character right here, the cat, he's behaving like a human, right? So that is not real. You're not going to see a cat standing up, opening the door, bringing in a big box, wearing a hat, wearing a little bow, acting like a human. No, it's not real. That's made up. It's fiction. The Three Little Pigs, same thing. Those characters are behaving like humans. They're wearing clothes, standing upright, trying to build themselves homes to live in. That's made up. Fiction. And then the Gingerbread Man, same thing with the same character. Cookies don't come to life. They don't run off singing. That's made up. All right, so as we continue throughout the week, we'll talk about the different books we're reading and why they are a good example of fiction.